I do remember one moment being stood on the platform at Argyll Street Station in Glasgow. For some reason, I do remember this. Just suddenly thinking, so there I was, 17 years old, and thinking, like, you know, thinking back to, I remember specifically thinking back to when I watched Jon Pertwee. I think that younger version of me, about 7 years before or so, had known that, you know, a few years from now, be writing for that programme, the same programme that produced the Jon Pertwee Doctor Who's and the Tom Baker Doctor Who's. You know, I just wouldn't have believed it. It was great, but at the same time, I was wanting to do as professional a job as I could. I mean, it was all part of wanting to get into writing. You know, I wasn't just looking at Doctor Who because I was sending stuff into other programmes, but the fact that, you know, I'd grown up with Doctor Who, probably of that first generation that Doctor Who was always there. I was born like a year before the programme started. And I just looked forward to Saturdays. It seemed like it was on for about half the year, but it just seemed to be always on and something always to look forward to, certainly at least in the Patrick Troughton years for me. And then suddenly to find myself writing it was a bit surreal, really. Going on set and seeing the set of the Starliner, the place where the Marshmen come in through the hatch, and there's and I described in the script, there's a sign on the wall that says only to be opened when planetfall has been achieved. You know, so that's a written thing in the script as opposed to a piece of description about an expansive area or dark or whatever. And to actually see that sign, I remember looking at that sign on the wall and thinking, oh, I wrote that in the script and that's there. And actually to walk on, the first day in the studio, because there were 2 studio blocks, and the first day, the first scenes that were recorded were in the TARDIS. And to walk on set and actually be stood by the TARDIS console and then thinking, this looks a lot shabbier than it does on the screen. Yeah, it was quite something. Although, again, I suppose, as part of that first generation of people being fans who were actually been brought up with the programme, actually working on it, I also went to pains not to kind of show fan credentials, you know, because the most important thing to me was I was writing for TV. Being a fan at that time wasn't something that actually gave you any credentials or was actually desirable. Because as I now understand, Bernard Padden and Matthew were both big fans as well. And Bernard tells a story of them both sneaking off to watch a bit of Destiny of the Daleks or something elsewhere on the BBC. This is great because this is fandom kind of out there. This is getting feedback to your stuff as well. And for me, not just, you know, what is now kind of ancient history 36 years ago, Full Circle was broadcast. But the the Big Finish titles that I'm writing now, getting the feedback from that stuff that you've written, that's been produced, that's gone out there, and getting such a positive reaction to things, and it's great just to have so many like-minded people in one place. And there's so many people who come to these things now that I know and are friends. It's not just about the guests. Some of them are going to be telling stories, and I'll probably tell stories this afternoon that I've told before, that people have heard before. But it is that thing, getting together socially and chatting to people. We've just come past a huge queue for the photographs outside, and people are talking to each other. And there's going to be all sorts of conversations and opinions and whatever, but just that social interaction where people can come together. And this is looking like such a good event. I hope this is done again. It's sold out. It's a great location. It's easy to get to. It's obviously incredibly well organised, and we're talking fairly early on day one of the weekend, but it's looking like a huge success. It's great to be in.